Welcome back to Hanging with Dedo. My name is Derek, aka Dedo. You're looking at our old historic home. And if you've been following along in the videos, we were trying to repair the facade, which had been painted over with this latex or acrylic paint that's held the moisture into the lime render that's underneath it. It's caused a lot of cracks and damage. We're trying to get that remedied. I'm not a professional painter or lime washer. I'm actually a florist that's come upon this historic home in my quest to produce world-class cut flowers in my hometown of Hartsville, Tennessee. That's where we're located. And the old house here, we call it the big house, uh, mainly because when we took it over, we didn't purchase it as a home or anything like that. It just came it came with some land that we bought to try to move our peony patch to. And when we would ask uh, where you're going or where you'll be, somehow we always referred to it, I'm going over to the big house. So that's how it's kind of stuck inside. But my wife thinks that makes it sound like a prison. It's far from a prison. Oh, she's a beauty. I mean, a real jewel to the neighborhood. But she's been neglected for a long time. And when we found her, she was in a sad state. We've spent a lot of time and effort to try to bring her back to her glory. I like this kind of stuff. Creative things. I like working with my hands and fixing and building and any of that kind of thing that you can use your hands and look back on it and say, I did that. So hey, don't critique me too hard. I'm working hard at it. I'm doing my best and I'm enjoying every minute of it. So we got the front of it done and it looks pretty nice. I say done. We've removed the paint and added some lime. The lime's a little chalky, so I want to let it rest a while and work on my recipe as the weather changes. Maybe a little colder temperatures might make it a little better for the putting the lime on. But as you see here, we've moved to another side of the house and I'm grinding on it now. We're going to be interrupted in this project here shortly because we have another project that I want to get to as far as making videos. We started this before the gala videos that were featured on this channel earlier as part of my I guess, schooling of learning to edit and make videos. So thank you all who watched that. If you haven't seen it, go back and check it out. It's a video about us making flowers for a charity that raises money for our downtown. So, and excuse all the crazy angles here of the photos. I'm just trying to kind of give you an overview of my work that I've done over the last few days on the house. And I can't wait to get rid of these old green shutters. Like I said before, they just really bothered me since we've been there, but it was the least of things to worry about as far as things that needed to be fixed or projects that needed to be done. So here we are. We're on the west side. This part of the house here that you see with the portico is the west facing part of the house. It's probably the worst as far as damage goes, as far as the cracks and that kind of thing. So we're not going to have as easy repairs as we did on the front. But as I zoom in here on the front, you're going to notice that all the cracks, if you notice in the earlier videos, are all gone. We filled them in with the lime and coated over them, and it's really an amazing process. So check out the earlier videos in the playlist if you'd like to see how we did that. But for here, I'm going to get into a little bit of the grinding. I'll show you doing that and then the process of once we got the paint removed. We're not going to get to the lime washing yet. That'll have to take place a little bit later, but I'm excited to bring you some other content that Samantha and Scott, that's my daughter and son, have been working on, and actually my wife too. I didn't mention her, but she's always an intricate part of everything that happens. So thank you for that, Jill. So here we are, the west side of the house. We got in this picture, about 3/4 of it ground down. And now here you see where we've removed some of the green shutters and we've ground a little further along. And so it really makes a big difference in how it looks. The sun makes it difficult to see the difference between where I've ground and where I haven't ground. But I'm
that
going to
have been
take you to some
on
action shots because
vigilant
you know, I want to
wasp
show you
duty
the process of us
over
and,
here.
how labor intensive it is. This is a really hard job,
Hard to tell with that
and I've
sun.
been
I
working
can't
really
tell.
hard at it. And there's
Pick up on
Leonard. He's kind of the mascot around here. He always guards the sidewalk, but he's really harmless, but he barks a lot, so people think he's mean.
Yeah, two more.
Anyway, he's going to keep an eye on the neighbors. I can guarantee you that. In the sidewalk, look, there he is. He's trying to check it out. What's going on? He says. Now, anyway, back to the lime washing project. So I'm going to get up here on the lift and show you up close what happens when we, you know, start to grind the paint off. It's an amazing process, and I've really enjoyed working on it. So thanks for checking out the video. And here, let's get into some action.
No more shutters. All right, a little recap here. We've started grinding on this side of the house. Got this part done. Working over here. A few of these nails that hold the shutters in. You can see where they nailed it in, broke a piece, and I'm trying to be very careful to not break the corners loose that are cracked, or break the pieces loose. So I got the grinder. I'm going to grind those off, and then yeah, just keep working our way on down. Kind of slow going. It's very physical. Seeing that my shoulder is still kind of weak, or is very weak. I don't have that. Can only do so much, I guess, before I run out of steam. So overcast and cold today. Not even going to be out of the 50s, which is, you know, 3 days ago I think it was almost 85 or 90 and sunny. So a little bit of a shock to the system. So here we go. We'll get started.
So yeah, you can see here I'm grinding the paint off, and of course this video is speeded up. So, but it's quite a physical task. You see me moving my arm. I had some shoulder surgery, so I'm just now back. Probably shouldn't even be doing this at this point, but I'm ready to go. I've been sitting around for weeks, so behind on my things to do. So as I continue to grind here, you'll see we get down to this beautiful render that was put on the house originally. Well, not originally. The house was built in 18. I believe the first part of the home dates back to about the 1840s, and then they built on top of that later on in the early or late 1800s, and then this in the 1920s, I guess the Greek revival look that it has now was added to it. It was a red brick home uh, when it was built, and then they added this lime and added some indoor plumbing and stuff like that, and the big columns in the front. That was in like 1925, I think it was, something like that. So I'd love to get into the history with you, but you'll have to stick around the channel to get some of that information. Haven't started with that, but I'd love to get into it with you and kind of give you the whole history. And it's got quite the story, the house. So we're just grateful to be able to work on it now and hopefully preserve it for future generations to marvel at the craftsmanship that went into it. When they built these houses, they were all built by hand, and it's just amazing. There's no two by fours or um, stick construction as they call it. This is all masonry, 3, 4, and 5 courses of bricks and big lime rocks. So it's an amazing. Inside was all lathe and plaster, or lath and plaster. Amazing finishes on the plaster. Not some of this plaster as they call it today with some thin coat. I mean, this was a 3 or 4 coat process that really stood the test of time until people started nailing into it and cracking it and knocking it loose from the lath behind. But see the progress we made here. You notice that star, that's a pole that runs through the house. That's how they did it, I guess, back in the day to kind of give the outside brick walls a little support or structure. So other people who are versed in that probably know better. But I just always amazed at looking at it from once we grind the paint off, just all the little aggregates in there. The reason it's gray is because I'm sure they use the local limestone here, sediment as their aggregate in the lime uh, render. So, but anyway, I'm going to keep going here, and thanks for stopping in and checking it out, and we'll get you up to date.
Oh yeah, looking good.
The cracks on this side of the house are just immense. There's a lot of them. You can't really see it until we get it wet, all the little fine ones, but you notice how big these are. These are a lot bigger than the cracks. We had a few settling cracks on the front around the windows and stuff like that, between the two windows, which filled in nicely and weren't a problem. It's just amazing how many more are on here. I guess it's from the the heating and cooling of the moisture in there, being to the west side of the house. I'm assuming that it heats and, it's cold and hot, gets hot quicker or something like that, causing the moisture to expand uh, more rapidly or before it can dissipate than it does on the front of the house. That's my hypothesis anyway. So I'm not real sure about that. But this is pretty tedious work. I mean, you can see how slow it goes when I slow it down into real life speed. It's a lot of work. There's a lot of pressure there. So I'm going to keep working on it and grinding it off. Hopefully we can get all this paint off and get on to our other projects. So here we go again. Well, there it is. Another day in the books. I think it's about 6.5 hours of grinding. It's about all I can do physically. I'm going to tidy up and clean up around and get everything ready for tomorrow. Hopefully by tomorrow I can get the rest of this side ground off. That's probably where I'll leave it and move on to our new project. So hang around and check out the videos that are coming. Thank you and may God bless you. And remember, it's always a beautiful day in the flower business. And I hope yours is enjoyable too. Thank you so much.